Welcome to another episode of Around Town, the monthly news magazine produced by the town of Garner. I'm your host, Rick Mercer. This month we delve into the Garner art scene as Mayor Ronnie Williams interviews local artist Vince Wood. But first, let's check in with some of the men and women in our Public Works Department as they participate in their annual rodeo event, a competition which lets them show off some of the skills they use every day out in the field.
We've been doing the radio for 4 years to help celebrate National Public Works Week and give the people a chance to recognize and thank the people who work in our streets and parks every day, try to keep them looking good, help Garner be a nice place to be. We run about 4 events. Yeah. Well, right now you see them, they're doing the backhoe competition with our excavator. We call it backhoe basketball, if you will. The object is to pick up the basketballs off the cone and go drop them in a Public Works issued rollout container. And we also have a truck and trailer backing event where you back a trailer in between some cones without knocking the cones off. And we also have a nail driving event to exercise your carpenter skills. Well, we leave out of here Monday through Friday with the hopes that we can keep the town clean, keep it looking good, keep our roads and sidewalks safe, and go out and pick up litter, pick up trash, keep the parks pretty, keep the ball players happy, and you name it, Garner's Public Works has every function but water and sewer, which is done by the city of Raleigh. So if it's not water or sewer, we do it.
Yeah, I'm nervous about it because I don't use this equipment very often. So it's only once or twice a year I get to get on this type of equipment. So I was a little nervous. I was a little nervous on it.
How do you think you did?
Okay, for only being on it a couple of times a year. I think okay. I'm sure we have much better participants.
Yeah, I love my job. I like this place, great place. I work for about 5 years, and I work like pension right there, take care of every 2 parks, have to be there, clean the trash and bathroom every day, so make the park look good and show every community come to park and they appreciate what we done and what public done for them. So.
Well, we strive hard to provide customer service through making the town look better, the parks being clean, being friendly, helping them be safe within our parks and our streets.
Well, that was a fun segment. Our Public Works crews do a great job making Garner look great and run smoothly every day. Next, let's look at that interview that the mayor did with artist and muralist Vince Wood.
y'all for being here. It is yet another great day in Garner. here today with another installment of the segment that we call Great People in Garner. With us today is Vince Wood, a painter and muralist who is a native of Garner. Vince, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Vince, you grew up in Garner. Tell us about your experiences and life growing up in Garner.
Growing up in Garner was fun, number one. I mean, Garner is a close-knit community, and I'm still friends with people that I met on my first baseball team at 7 years old. We're still friends to this day. There's a lot of communities aren't like that. You grow up, you move, and you move on. And around where we live at, we stay friends a long time. So growing up in Garner was full of sports. Number one, if you're a boy and you're growing up in Garner, you're going to be playing on all the ball fields out there. And so that was a big part of my life. And another big part of my life growing up was artwork in Garner. We had some of the greatest teachers in our schools that were teaching me along the way. Still got good teachers, yeah. Still got good teachers, but I had really good art teachers growing up along the way that kind of honed that skill.
You've become somewhat of a celebrity with your artwork. Talk us through that and tell us what you're working on currently.
Yeah, I don't know about a celebrity. I mean, it's good to be recognized for what you do, but currently I'm working on, probably the big project that I'm working on is a deal that I just signed with a welding helmet company, and I'm going to be designing 5 designs, military theme, that will be applied to their welding helmets and sold in Lowe's home improvement stores around the country, and that's in accordance too with they're going to be giving a percentage back to the USO North Carolina. Yep. So I actually met them through the USO North Carolina with my work with them. So we were able to sign a deal, and so that's my next big thing is putting my signature on some welding helmets.
The talent that you possess, did you just wake up one morning, get out of bed, and say, I'm going to be an artist?
No way, not at all. You know, growing up, art was always behind sports. I mean, we grew up, my twin brother, who's an artist as well, we share the talent. The sports was first in our life, and art kind of came second. And we always looked at art as a hobby, something to unwind to. And it wasn't until I was injured on a training fire in Garner. I was pursuing a career in firefighting that I finally acknowledged my gift and decided to take a shot at earning a living at it.
And you used the right word, gift. It is a God-given gift and talent. When did you discover that you had that?
Well, I probably discovered that when I became saved. I mean, you have to, if you're given this gift by a higher power, by God, you have to acknowledge God to acknowledge your gift. And when I was saved and I accepted Jesus and I accepted that there was a God, my eyes were open to the gift that was given to me, and I realized that not everybody's given the gift that I have, and that I should respect it.
You've got that, as I call it again, a God-given talent. You're self-taught. You've not had any formal training at any art school?
I have not had any formal training. I'm strictly self-taught. When I made the decision that I wanted to try to earn a living as an artist, I pretty much put myself through art college. So I studied on my own.
Vince's Art College.
That's right. I mean, you have to know what your competition is out there doing, and you have to be able to offer all the services that an artist needs to offer in order to make a living. It's really hard to just be a niche artist and earn a living off of one thing. So I try to offer a lot of different services. And
okay, you have a twin brother who is also an artist, and he's maybe as talented as you are. I don't know, that's up to you, but how often do y'all do projects together, or are you working on anything currently?
We're not actually working on anything currently together. We do work together often, and it's usually on a big mural, big project where I have a deadline. And my brother's perfectly capable artist. In fact,
He can make it on his own without you?
he can make it on his own without me. Yeah, it'd be a tough competition for us to go head to head. We do share the gift. I mean, we have always performed our art together. I mean, and we are also competitive. So if I saw Vic's work looking good, then I stepped my game up. Same with him. It was a competitive thing that we took from sports into our artwork. But you know, we love working together, and we love working together. This picture behind us, the Vietnam Veteran Welcome Home, my brother actually painted the helicopter on there. And
y'all did collaborate on that?
We did collaborate on this, yes. And not only did he paint the helicopter, but he was an important element in helping me come up with the concept for this painting. Having a twin brother to have that conversation with, who's also an artist, and you can hash out ideas and narrow things down. That made all the difference in the world in that painting.
You've got two murals in the town limits of Garner in very visible locations, one on Main Street and one at the ball field at the senior high school. Tell us about those murals. Let's start with the baseball theme on the Main Street in Garner.
All right. Well, that was really fun because it was in, I think, August when I did that. I think it was 95 degrees outside, so that was a challenge. It was, but it was also an interesting project because we started out, we could have chose anything under the sun, and the process in getting towards the subject matter that we chose was pretty fun to do. It was interesting because I actually came up with about 5 different sketches, and one of my sketches was the railroad tracks with the baseball bouncing onto the railroad tracks, and John Hodges, who I worked with on the project, said, "Why don't we put a baseball scene up there? You do a lot of sports art. You grew up playing on these fields. Why don't we put a baseball scene?" A lot of history downtown. A lot of history right there on that street for baseball, and across the railroad tracks at the park over there. So very few young men come through Garner and aren't touched by those fields and those smells over there. And I think that's a good end caps, a good cherry on the top for the end of Main Street down there. I mean, you're introduced on the Main Street off of 50 with the fire department and then the baseball fields, and then you got the quaintness of the shops downtown, and I just think it's a perfect end cap of your drive down through Main Street.
The mural at the high school.
Mural at the high school was another challenge because that was in winter. And in fact, the last day that I worked on that job, it was 29-degree temperature. And the paint was freezing up in the tray, and I had promised the school I'd have it done for the playoff game that night. And we actually had a big unveiling, and Scotty came out, and we unveiled it. And I told the football players who were about to play that night, I said, I was up here last night till 2 o'clock in the morning in 29-degree temperature painting this thing. I said, hope that inspires you to go out and paint to go play and win in 32-degree temperature tonight. Yeah, and they did. They won that night.
Obviously, you can live anywhere you want to, but you've chosen to remain in Garner. Why have you chosen to do that? I mean, certain areas you probably have more success in promoting your talent and your product, but why have you hung around Garner so long?
Well,
same reason I have, I guess.
Maybe so. The reason why I've hung around Garner is because it's such a community. You feel a community around you. You can get swallowed up when you go a lot of places. And here, you have natural support surrounding you. I mean, it's a cliche, but everybody does know everybody around here. I mean, at my age and your age, we know everybody. So it's important for me to be able to do what I do, to have the support around me, physically around me, and there's no better place than in Garner, North Carolina, and that's a fact. So I have done a lot of work out of state. I've done a lot of work all over the country, but I'll never move. Garner will always be my home for that aspect of support.
We've recently had a networking and brainstorming session to discuss improving and promoting the arts in Garner, especially the visual arts. How are we doing? Are we doing better, or how does the future look?
I can tell you this, a start looks good to me because you know, we don't have an arts council in Garner, and that kind of is the, you know, kind of some of the decision makings and people that are actually working in the field that can and take their ideas and apply it into the community. Well, I'm seeing right now a lot of interest from you and from the town council and from the people in our town. Yeah, I can feel an interest in talented people, not just artists, talented people, and I can feel a rising of the arts in Garner. We've took measures. I mean, we talked about at that meeting about trying to integrate artists into the fabric of our already the events that we have in Garner, the Music on Main, 4th of July celebration, whatever events that we already have set up in Garner. We talked about having artists there, visible, to start, you know, tying that into the fabric of our community. So we've already done that. I mean, I set up at the first Music on Main. We're calling it Art Off Main, beside Music Off Main, and I mean, that was a good crowd for a small town venue. That was a good venue, and I've done 62,000 person venues, and I've done small venues. But that an artist can have a good night at an event like that. And I think that the more that we start integrating that into the events in our town, it's going to cultivate, and sooner or later we will have a base of working artists that will form, you know, an idea, form a council, hopefully, and that from there that it can just grow even more.
You have a passion for veterans. Will you talk about that a little bit?
I do have a passion for veterans, and I haven't always, you know, I was a knucklehead for a long time, and you know, there's one thing that's always been a part of my art since I made the decision to become an artist, whether intentionally on my part or not. And there's always been calls added to some of my projects, whether it was working with the juvenile diabetes, whether it's working with breast cancer charities, or whether it's working with veterans. There's always calls has always found its way into my paintbrush, and you know, veterans are they're not a charity, but they are due as much attention as some of the charities that are out here because of the sacrifice that our men and women do for us. So for me, it may be a little bit cheesy, but I saw a movie called Saving Private Ryan, and at the end of that movie, the captain saves Private Ryan, and he's shot and he's mortally wounded, and he tells Private Ryan as he's dying, he says, "Earn this." And that moved me, and I've never been the same since I heard that quote. When he said, "Earn this," it made me feel like, well, if that soldier has to earn his life, surely I have to earn my life. And it just opened up an appreciation for veterans that I have to this day, and it's probably my #1 cause.
You were at Charlotte Motor Speedway recently for the Vietnam veterans. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yep, I was. I actually came up with this painting, this concept, with a Vietnam veteran who called me in hopes to carry something up there to be seen artistically by all the veterans. And man, it turned out we talked to the USO, we talked to Charlotte Motor Speedway. They asked us to come be a part of the event. They set us up in the NASCAR garage. From the moment that the doors opened until the moment that they shut the doors, I had thousands of people around me watching me paint on this thing. And you know, I get chilled just talking about it. I mean, my heroes were around me. That was one of the best days of my life because I was surrounded by people that I was trying to honor, and they were accepting me being there. You know, I don't know how bigger you can get than welcoming home men. I mean, you're a Vietnam veteran. I don't know how better of a day you can have than honoring men and women that were not welcomed home 40 years, properly 40 years ago, and I was a part of a one day to help heal and to help do that. And you know, it's going to be hard to top that.
There's an old cliche that calls artists in some locations starving artists. Have you been to that extent? Have you been that far in life?
I have.
Have you ever been a starving artist?
I sure have, and let me tell you, you know, some people are born in different circumstances. I wasn't a rich person, so I had to work, and I had to earn to be, you know, to be called an artist. I mean, the title of an artist is is, you know, there's a lot of respect that comes with being called an artist. I mean, look, I get told 10 times a day how good I am at what I do. How many professions, you know, get told that often? So I have to respect my profession because of how much respect is given to me for just the gift I have. But I have not always planned on being an artist. It was something that just that God, you know, has a funny way about giving you a purpose when you're born. And if you're straying off of that path of your life purpose, He has a funny way about putting you back on that.
And I've always heard, if you want to hear God laugh, tell Him your plans. He's got His plans for you.
That's absolutely right. But of course I struggled. I think there's a necessary struggle that an artist has to go through in order to be a good artist and to be called an artist. I mean, artists have to have an experience that is unique to the normal human experience in order to convey unique things on canvas and express themselves, you know, through paint. So I'm proud of my struggle. Yeah.
Where do you see Garner 10 years from now?
Man, if it's the chart's looking like this right now, so who knows? It's all I can tell you is that Garner has always been a great town, but it just seems like that somebody's lit a firecracker up underneath us. Whether it was Mr. McCreary or not, somebody's lit a firecracker up underneath us, and that we have a lot of movement towards progression right now. And 10 years from now, who knows? Who knows?
And finally this month, we're going to look at a segment produced by some very talented students over at Garner Magnet High School. It's a segment they titled, Did You Know? Let's take a look.
Did you know that the U.S. News and World Report recognized
Garner Magnet High School as a bronze medal winner for their 2012 Best High Schools rankings?
Did you know we have increased our students' EOC performance 20% since 2008 with 84.7%
proficiency as of January 2012, the highest in school history?
Did you know our out-of-school suspension rate has decreased each of the last 4
years with an overall reduction of 30%?
Did you know that as of January 2012,
Garner Magnet High School closed the achievement gap with Wake County Public School Systems?
Did you know the overall proficiency and growth
now exceeds the Wake County Public School System average?
Did you know JROTC program is
now an option for our students?
Did you know the hallways of Garner Magnet High School
were used for a national recording artist music video?
Did you know the Garner Relay for Life raised
over $200,000 this year, the most ever? Did you know 7 of our athletic teams won
conference championships this year?
Did you know 9 athletes were named
Conference Player of the Year in their respective sports?
Did you know that 7 coaches were named Conference Coach of the Year in their respective sport?
Did you know that one of our coaches was presented
with the Greater Raleigh Sports Council Amateur Athletic Award?
Did you know over a dozen of our athletes
will continue playing on the collegiate level on scholarship?
Did you know that Garner Magnet High School students have set record enrollment in
AP, IB Diploma, and Honor Level courses for 3 consecutive years?
Did you know 630 students made AP Honor Roll for the 3rd quarter of 2012?
Did you know the Blue Crew won the WRAL
High School OT Student Cheer Competition in the fall of 2011? Did you know that 157 seniors are
graduating with honors or distinguished honors this year?
Did you know the Garner Magnet High School class of 2012 has accumulated over $1.4
million in college scholarships?
Did you know one of our students has sold over
1 million albums?
Did you know our dance program has been selected to participate in the prestigious Pieces of Gold performance?
Did you know the Garner Magnet High School Band
has earned multiple superior ratings this year?
Did you know the choral department performed at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. this year
and also earned numerous superior ratings this year?
Did you know that several of our students achieved
the rank of Eagle Scout this year?
Did you know our school has 35 National Board Certified teachers,
which exceed the district and state average?
Did you know 31% of our teachers have advanced degrees,
which exceed the district and state average?
Did you know Wake County Public School System selected our principal for Principal of the Year in 2012
and is a state finalist for North Carolina Principal of the Year?
Did you know the National SAVE organization
named one of our teachers Advisor of the Year?
One school, one team, one goal. We are Garner Magnet High School. We are Trojans, and I am proud to be a Trojan.
Well, that's it for this month's episode of Around Town. Don't forget that you can watch the show on demand online at garnernc.gov. You can also follow the town on Facebook at GarnerNC, all one word, or you can follow us on Twitter at Town of Garner. Thanks for watching. I'm Rick Mercer.